My name is Marc Pistorio. I'm a psychologist. I am at the same time a mediator. I work for the Ministry of Justice in Quebec to do family mediation for people who are getting divorced. And the other thing I do is that I'm doing mediation in companies to basically solving conflicts. So that's my main area, and I have a private practice. So I'm doing therapies with individuals and couples for therapy. Therapies with couples, actually.
As you mentioned that you are in conflict mediation and resolution in companies and in personal matters. I remember that one time, one woman that works in the United Nations Department of Peacekeeping, she asked me one thing very interesting. Then when we finish our interview, she asked me, what do you think that it's, well, for you, what's the essential element for peace and for peacekeeping? And I do the same question to you.
For me, it would be to learn how to feel, deal, and express your emotions. That would be the main thing for me, because I truly believe that if you understand what's going on inside of you, in terms of emotions, not in terms of rational, but emotionally, if you understand what's going on, if you understand how to deal with it, what to do with it, and how to express it, then you'll probably feel more in peace with yourself and with other people around you. And truly, if we talk about anger, for instance, if you realize when anger is misplaced and not understood, it's when it's poorly expressed. People who don't know how to understand their emotion and their anger in particular, they lose control. That's what you see right now in the streets. People are going in the streets and they're trying to say something. They're trying to say that it's not fine, it's not working for them. They're losing privilege, they are losing quality of life. But the ways they say it sometimes goes against them. Violence is never a good way to express what you think or what you feel. It never works in a couple relationship. It never works in friendship. Never works with your boss. But you have the right to say things that are significant for you, and instead of losing the other person in your non-verbal mess, you have to find the perfect balance between emotion and rational, and then trying to speak. Well, most of the time I tell people, if you feel confronted by something, it's good. It means that you feel that you're alive, but you have to find your way to say it in a way that people could understand you. Because if we have a conflict, you and I, and suddenly I'm losing control and I'm screaming and banging on the table, suddenly, even if I had something very interesting to say, even if my message was important, you are not going to get it, because what you'll see is all the non-verbal thing, and you'll be afraid maybe of me, and then you lose your the person listening to you.
Carl Jung, he said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course.
And it's what you're saying.
It's exactly what I'm saying.
And but most of the times what I see, it's that people, it's not that they don't know how to be authentic. It's many times they are not in real contact of their real self, what they really want, what they really their talents are, what they want to do in life, where they want to be. These kind of things are not very clear many times.
You mean they don't know themselves in terms of identity?
Yes. So how to be authentic in that way? How to express?
I think that people know more than they think. Because you know what, even if you don't know exactly yourself, you have people around you. You have people that you can trust. You have maybe recurrent problems with other people. It can't be just them. If you are around different people and a recurrent problem is coming back to you with different persons, sometimes not even knowing themselves, you have to accept that there are some things that you can probably reflect on to identify dimensions that need to be worked on. I think that there's different ways of approaching how to know yourself better. Read, go to conferences, be curious, ask people around you, find some people who are inspirational for you, and try to understand what really do you find inspirational. Is it because they have passion? Is it because they are competent in what they do? So really there's many ways to approach what you are and who you are. And I truly think that we all know sometimes we identify that we are not happy, or we have things that are coming back to us, and it's always in the same realm, it's always in the same area. So either way, for people, they don't like their job, or they don't like their relationships, or they don't feel happy. Already, these are paths to investigate. Ultimately, you can always go to a few sessions with a therapist to ask, okay, you know what, I'm really lost. Can you try to help me put, some logic in what's doesn't seem to be? But the first responsibility is to try different ways. And I'm sure that there's always something that you can catch.
And other people just ask, is it wise for me to be authentic all the way?
It is always, because that's what you can only do best. I can only be the best version of myself. If I'm authentic, that means that I can be sometimes an amazing person. Sometimes I might not like what I am, but at least I'm truthful. It doesn't mean that you have to be perfect, It doesn't mean that you have always to be so zen and no. But be truthful to yourself and to other people. I'd rather tell you, you know what, I'm very uncomfortable with what you're telling me. It's not very nice. I don't like to see myself like that. But you're damn right. You're right. I have this weakness. I have to work on that. That is way better, and it's already a step to the solution than denying and pretending. Pretending, it costs a lot of energy. Trying to put a mask and be another person, when you're back home at night and by yourself and alone, you must feel very lonely. So authentic, it doesn't mean that you have to be perfect. It means that you have to acknowledge that there's good, beautiful, amazing things in you. But there are things that comes from a past where you were not, and you couldn't work that to the right way. Things that you have to improve, and we all have to improve. This is the movement of life,
How did it work for you? Is there an event that changed your life and that it was like an awakening moment, and that you just knew that you had to follow that path, or it was different milestones? I don't know.
That's a very interesting question, actually. I think that for a long time as a kid, I was not happy. something was wrong, and I thought I had, a very nice family, and in a way I had. But they didn't, my parents, they didn't give me what I needed as a kid. Is it their fault? I wouldn't say that, but they didn't see me the way I was and the needs I had as a kid. So I had to, in my life face different situations. I couldn't manage them. And then I became a psychologist, thinking I just want to help people in my life. But in a way, I was more to understand myself. And when I realized that I was probably not a very good psychologist if I didn't know myself better. So I started to go to therapy, and it took me time and years. And then I realized how much I had in me, the good things, but I had to face the ones that were more, sad, and to rebuild, and to, in a way, reborn from my own past. And then I was a better psychologist, and I could help people because I knew and I understood where they were coming from. And I could be more positive and more inspirational for them. That's the great thing about it. When you're authentic, people are giving you back because they feel it. They feel then when you speak from your heart. You don't speak from something that you've learned. Sometimes I have the feeling that I don't know anything about psychology, but I know a lot about suffering and about truth, authenticity, integrity, values. So that's what that's where I come from, and that's the source of inspiration for my books. It's a lot about. That's what people tell me a lot. It's like you are talking about me, and I tell them, I talk about you, I talk about me.
I don't know if you the story of Julia Butterfly Hill. She's a woman from the United States. She's an activist, and she's when she was very young, she climbed a redwood tree, that big trees.
I know them, yeah.
And she stayed there for more than 2 years. More than 2 years, because she to prevent loggers to cut this tree. It was like a metaphor of this what she wanted to. In that time, she was very young, and she didn't know really she was capable of doing such a thing. More than 2 years, it was incredible. And then afterwards,
And
she
people,
began.
People were bringing her food.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I saw a report on that.
Yes, and afterwards, she began to ask everybody, what is your tree now in life?
I think it's to make people understand how much they are more powerful than they think, and how to connect to this power, and to connect to other people's power too. And the power in a good way, the power in a responsible way, the power to not being self-destructive, for instance, but really constructive, taking what seems to be wrong to transform it in something that's good and positive. So I am always trying to ask people, ask yourself, what is my power? What is my power? There is something that you do well, and something that you could find inside of you to project and to work with other people on different projects too, but there's something that you have to find. It's your purpose in life. It's your purpose in life. Yours is probably to spread ideas, to make people think and find their ways. and maybe, transfer that to other people, and etc., etc. That's a great thing, and that's why the name of your site is amazing, because that's really what we want. Where are the great ideas? For sure, I'm trying to, give you my best here, but I will certainly go on your site and try to take the gifts that other people are giving me. That's what I think what people should do. What is the gift that I want to give to the people around me? And if I can't change the world, I can certainly change my environment around me. And I hope that it will echo.
It's very important what you're saying, and I'm thinking that we have always to work with the roots if we want, extraordinary fruits.
Yes.
And that I think about education and the actual education system. And what do you think we could implement in the actual education system for people to unleash that kind of answers from early stage of their lives?
I think that for me, what is very important in education, and it's lacking a lot, it's how to listen and how to speak. We never, learned how to listen to the people around us. What do they have to say? Kids, they are very spontaneous, at the beginning of their life, and then they lose it. They don't lose it because of themselves. They lose it because of the parents, because of the adults. They can't speak their mind. They learn how to repress it. Because what we value is not people expressing ideas and creativity. What we value is a good kid, not talking too much, not making too much noise, not screaming, not crying. That's what we value, and that's very sad. I think that what we have to learn again is from the kids, actually, is to be more spontaneous, is to accept that ideas sometimes are confrontational, and we need that.
And you're talking about children, and I think they are very good on making questions.
Oh yes.
They are perfect.
And the right ones, the ones you couldn't suspect.
And there's this philosophical college in Nepal, in a certain monastery, and Buddhist monastery, and they still have the traditional forms of debate, that they challenge each other with questions that they think they are beneficial to each other. Could you challenge us with one or two questions you think they are really important for us to think about it?
I would say again, what is it that you never said? And what is it that you have to say? If no one would interrupt you, what would you say?
And what would you say if you had just 30 seconds to talk with all the children and young people in the world?
Never give up. Always be yourself, even if people react. Never give up.
And how, facing the main challenge humanity face nowadays, how do you see the leaders of the future? How do you see the main characteristics they have to to have?
Well, first I have to say that right now I don't see any leaders. It's terrible for me right now in the world. I think there's a huge lack, especially in politics. You know, it's like that in Canada. It's like that in France. I see that and hear a lot of people around the world expressing that there's a lack of positive leadership. And I truly think that we need people with charisma and positive leadership. And positive leadership is to be able to hear the worst, to work with the people to transfer it into the best. So I would say again, you know, to be consistent with what I said before, listen to what people have to say, and at the same time find the right way to express what you think, again, what you feel, but in a constructive way. And a good leadership would be someone who would make people work together instead of imposing restrictions always and always more. So right now I would say that instead of trying to be what we are told to be, let's try to be what we are, not becoming someone that we're not. A little inner revolution for me was when suddenly I realized that, and I was a kid, and I realized that people around you you might be able to fool people around you because they can't get into your head. I never realized that before a certain age, you know, a young age actually. I thought that was authenticity. I thought that the world around me was the way I was seeing it, and that people were authentic. And then one day I realized that it was not like that. And I never forgot this moment, because at the same time the whole world was becoming dangerous, because people could talk and think the opposite. People could say that they would do some things and do the opposite. It could be good, it could be bad. And then I realized that I could lie and nobody ever would know it. That's the first time I think I touched the feeling of authenticity or not being authentic. And I never forgot that moment, and I think that when I decided the first time to write a book, right away it was on that subject. And I thought, why? Why is it so important for me? Well, maybe I did a therapy, so now this is the new me who wants to spread the good news. And then I thought about this moment, and I realized, oh my God, I'm trying to, have closure with this little inner revolution that I experienced. So that's my little story about authenticity. Mm-hmm. It's a very personal one. I never said that. Truly.
There's a moment in the Alice in Wonderland that the Queen is talking with Alice, and she's saying, well, you're still a child. You have to think about impossible things. You have to think about 6 impossible things before breakfast every day for things beginning to, well, to transform into possible. And what would you like to transform into possible if that's still impossible right now?
For me, I would like, I think that's always what I wanted, you know, and what I do this work as a psychologist and a mediator. I want people to never lose hope. I want people to understand that no matter where they come from, in terms of family history, in terms of their own psychological development or accomplishment, I would like people to always transform something they think impossible in something possible, because I honestly think that there's always a way to better yourself and your life, always. So when people are telling me, and it's recurrent, you know, every day in my life I see every day people crying, people in despair, every day for more than 20 years. It never breaks my heart, because I always connect to the other side, the pulse of life, because that's what I have to bring them to. You know, they're more in touch with their pulse of death, and I want them to see their pulse of life. Life is a movement. Even if you seem stuck, you're always in the movement of life. It's just with death that nothing moves anymore. Not the blood in our veins. Nothing, you know. We can breathe, we can't move. It's over. Or at least physically. But as soon as we realize that we are alive, there's always a little possible movement. And that's what I want people to connect with.
But that reminds me the quote from Thomas Carlyle that says, "A strong mind always hope and always have cause to hope."
Yes, yes, exactly.
Two more questions. There's a lot of trends going on, but and there's this trend watchers and trend creators. If you were a trend creator and you could create a trend now for, well, the whole world, a trend, what would you create? What kind of trend?
I think I would create a place where that would be my trend, you know, a place where people can ask, and a place where other people would give answers, and it would be on any subject. It wouldn't be for it wouldn't be to give people objects, products. It would be to, again, be a place to brainstorming, you know. And I truly think that sometimes, you know, we have a hard time to see other perspectives. We are a little bit narrow-minded because of, you know, because of our past, because of a way of thinking, because we didn't know how to look outside the box. So my trend would be to try to look outside the box. What if I was accessing another perspective in life? So that would be a place, you know, where you would have questions. It would be for kids, it would be for adults. they would come there and said, I have a question. I'm wondering why. And then the people's minds would be, thinking and trying to say, this is the way I see it. And for me, it's that. And for me, and I would love to have a place like that. And actually, what I do in Montreal sometimes is that there's a place where people can come and they can ask whatever question they want about psychology. It's just about psychology, but I'd like to be, something with other people and not just specialists, but people, talking about their own experience or their life or what they think they know or understand, bringing ideas, bringing something creative. And in psychology, that's what I'm trying to do. People are coming there and said, well, I have a problem with my son. He's doing this, he's doing that. I don't know what to do. And then I answer. Some other people, they come and they say, well, in my work environment, my colleague is reacting like that. What do I do? What can I do?
But it's a free space,
a
free space where there's psychologists and different ones, and people just come, and it's like
exactly, it's an open space. It's really a room in
when people sit
in a church. There's a room available, underneath the church. People come. It's during 2 hours, sometimes 2 hours and a half, and they come. And that's it. They ask their questions. They're seated. Sometimes people, stand up and
they share with each other.
They share with each other. But it's on the microphone, so
yes,
everybody can hear. And you can come there, and you don't have to talk. Just want to hear what's going on. Oh, this is like my story. Oh, I like that. Oh, I didn't. I never thought about that. So that's the place. That would be my trend.
What's your love strategy?
What's your
love strategy?
My love strategy.
Yes.
You know what? It's so easy in a way. It's again to say what I feel. It's never wrong. Never wrong. It's an invitation. You can take it or not. It's some kind of gift. I'm always trying to find the right moment and the right way, but when you know and when you do know that it's respectful, and when you allow the person receiving the information to do whatever he or she wants with it, it's never wrong, I always think that my responsibility is to say what I really think in an authentic way, but it goes with the other person has always the right to answer back or not, to accept it or not, if it's something that I ask, for instance. So for me, this way of respecting myself and the other person is really my own way to love.
Okay, thank you.
I thank you very much.